Hey, happy Monday, everybody. It's your man, Dame DNYDC. We're back with two mics up, brand new episode. Season 5, we just rolling along. And tonight's really special, in the sense that I always like to be able to highlight, certain gems in the community. And tonight, joining me on the other mic, you know, tonight's guest is phenomenal. The organization and the work that they're doing it blew me away, when I really sat and really started kind of digging in and preparing for the conversation. And I'm honored that, she took time out, her busy schedule, to sit here and join us tonight. How about that, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring to the mic tonight's guest, Sarah Tyndall. Sarah, how are you doing this fine evening?
I am doing well. How are you? And thank you for having me.
Hey, look, I'm doing great, and I'm really excited. Like I said, you know, to really have you on, and I want to just really, just kind of. A lot of times I like to ease in, but I want to just jump in and
Sure.
get straight to it. You know, First, give us a little information about who you are. A little background,
Mhm.
and let's talk about what you do with boxes of basics. Because I mean, this is amazing, y'all. Stay tuned. We're gonna get into this.
All right. Well, thank you. So my name's Sarah Tyndall, born and raised in Richmond, Virginia, and moved up to Northern Virginia. God, been married almost 20 years.
Wow.
So almost 20 years ago. I have two little boys, and I'm a stay-at-home mom first. So Paxton and Maxwell, they're in elementary school, fourth and second grade. And that's kind of just a little bit of background about me. Before I was a mom, I was a corporate event planner for an association here in Prince William County. So my background's in party planning. It's fun. And then, yeah, and I can kind of give you a history on how I started Boxes of Basics and what
Please.
we're all about.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess about 4 or 5 years ago, I was sitting on my couch, probably watching Bravo. I don't know. And I came across a Facebook post. There was a friend of a friend of a friend, and she had left a domestic violence situation. She had 4 kids, and she had to leave everything behind. And so someone was out there looking for clothes and collecting clothing for her children. They put the sizes out, and they said she's got 4 kids. I don't remember exactly, like 2 girls, 2 boys. Here are their sizes. And I thought, you know what? I can probably help this lady. And so I just started reaching out on Facebook to friends and neighbors. And before I knew it, I had enough clothes to fill my SUV twice.
Wow.
And
Wow.
excuse me, I realized 2 things. First, I'm sure that there were more people out there that needed this kind of help. Clothing is a simple thing. And I was like, if there's this one woman, I'm sure that there's other people that could use, clothing for their kids. And then the second thing I realized is that people want to help. People are good, and there are a lot of good people out there. And if you give them a vehicle to help, they'll do it.
Hmm.
And then the finally, the clothes were nice. They were nicer than the clothes that I put on my 2 kids, and so I was like, these are really nice clothes.
Hmm.
I hated giving her trash bags full of clothes, and so I thought, if I could do this for other people, but package the clothes in a way that was really special,
Mm.
that made the clothes feel like the child was getting a gift versus a trash bag,
Wow.
then
Wow.
that's what I wanted to do. And so I kind of came up with this idea. I called it Boxes of Basics. And I asked my husband, I said, honey, I just need a little part of our basement. I've got this project I'm doing with clothes. And he said, okay. So within that year, my entire basement was like a thrift
Wow.
store. And we
Wow.
had 100 volunteers walk through my front door. I had my
Oh,
toddlers
wow.
running around, and we were downstairs in the basement, and we were packing these boxes, which contain entire seasonal wardrobes for local children in need in Prince William, Manassas, and Manassas Park. So that's kind of how we started. Basement
Wow.
run, grassroots,
Wow.
operation.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. One, first of all, and I have to say kudos to your husband.
Yes.
Yeah, just as a man,
Yeah.
I have to, because my wife too. She has a similar thing, that started out like, hey babe, don't mind, now it's taking over the whole garage, so I can't. So kudos, but I love what she does, and similar to what you're doing, it comes from a good space,
Yeah.
right? And it comes from a place of need where, hey, there are some people out here that are struggling, having a hard time, and now I can only imagine, with the pandemic or going through the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
what was that like, for you, and boxes of basics, and was there an uptick? Did you find that there were more people in need of assistance, or like, how did that play out for you?
So we started, I think, a little 2 years before the pandemic, and we were
Mm-hmm.
in my
Mm-hmm.
basement. So during COVID, we really had to take a pause. We were in my
Mm-hmm.
house, and so we couldn't let volunteers and kind of keep functioning. So we paused that year, but it was kind of a blessing in disguise, because during that year, I was able to kind of line other things up. And at the end of 2020, we moved out of the basement and into our first location in Old Town Manassas.
All right.
So although we weren't operational and working, I was working kind of behind the scenes. So we grew in different ways during the pandemic. But
So that,
since the pandemic, and really even within the past year, I mean, the need it's just huge.
I can only imagine.
And what I do love about Boxes of Basics is that we don't help one type of child.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be able to help any kid that needed clothing.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that the children come to us is that they're referred to us by third parties.
Okay.
I would say about 90% of the referrals come through school social workers. We take referrals from churches, pediatricians' offices, other nonprofits. We work with Haymarket Food Pantry. We work with CASA, court-appointed special advocates who refer children to us. These are the people working with kids on the front lines that know this child is in need. This family is in need. I didn't want to be in the business of determining who was in need.
Right.
And so we really designed the model to rely heavily on these kind of, I call them the frontline workers, people that have that day-to-day contact with a child, who see a child come to school with shoes that don't fit or no coat and it's 20 degrees outside. And so that's how these kids come to us. But what I love about the model is that, we help kids facing challenges. I can't even imagine what these kids face and then have to go to school. Homelessness, domestic violence, refugee families, children navigating the foster care system. And then we help a lot of single parents, and they're working hard, but they're struggling. They might not qualify for all these other programs, but we'll help them at Boxes of Basics.
Right.
So if I can give your 4 kids a wardrobe for the entire season, that alleviates some finances that you can buy food, pay your bills, pay the electric bill. So we help kids facing a variety of challenges.
I heard you say a couple of times, so seasons, right? So how I guess is there a design or a model, like you talk about
What's in the
season?
box?
Well, not even more so to that. Like, so is this all year round, or is this like through school? Like, is this based off like a calendar year,
Yeah,
school
so
year?
we primarily operate during the school year, and that's for 2 reasons. I'm a stay-at-home mom first.
Right.
And I like to hang with my kids in the summer. But we get most of our referrals through the schools. So we really operate, I would say, late August through June. So we go by the school calendar, and then we pack the boxes by season. So each box contains an entire seasonal wardrobe of clothes.
Oh, wow.
We put school outfits in there. We put play outfits. We put a Sunday best outfit, something that's a little dressier if they're going to church, or maybe they have school picture day or just want to put a fancy something on. We put pajamas, new underwear, new socks, new shoes, a winter coat, hat, gloves. We put a dental kit, an age-appropriate book, and all the volunteers get to write a note to the child. So we really make sure that these kids have everything they need for the season. We wrap and we label each outfit. So
Oh,
when a
wow.
child gets a box of basics, they get to open up about 15 little packages
Oh, that's
of
awesome.
outfits that were selected just for them.
That
And
is so
it's
amazing.
and it's new and gently used, but the rule is if I wouldn't put it on my own kids, we don't put it in a box. It needs to be quality. It needs to look nice. I don't want it, no offense, but like from 1960, it has to be
Right, right.
new, and we want them to feel confident and empowered when they get these clothes. So
I,
that's really important to us.
I think that's really important, and it's beautiful because I mean, you know, like you said, so many of these families are going through so much, and as a child, sometimes you really have no idea what's going on, and you're going from place to place.
Right.
You know, God forbid, living outside of, living in a car, shelter, whatever it may be, and it just sounds like every box has every little bit of sunshine and Christmas and birthdays and everything built inside. And that really, had to, like, how did you really hone in and develop it? Because that really goes into a lot of detail and really care.
Well,
Like, where did that come from within you to
I
get into
don't,
that? That's just, I mean, it's amazing to me.
just an amazing person. No, I'm kidding.
Hey, hey, look, celebrate your wins too. There's nothing wrong with that either. I hate you, but I mean,
No, I
the
mean, I
detail.
have two boys,
Ah,
and I
mhm.
try to put myself in other people's shoes and say, what would make this person, what would make it easier for them? What would be nice to get instead of a trash bag full of clothes? I
Mm,
mean, we distribute gently used clothes, but they're new to the kids. And so one
right.
story that always pops in my head, we never meet the kids that we help. I never
Mhm.
get to see them. I never meet them, but the social workers will tell us stories. And one story I got that really resonated with me to kind of keep me going because I need motivation.
Right.
There was a little boy, I think he was 8 years old, second grade, and he was not confident. He didn't want to go to school. His clothes were worn, too small. And she said he got his box of basics, and the mother wrote a note and said this little boy was waking up 30 minutes early to pick out his
Wow.
outfit and get ready for school every day.
Wow. Look at that.
And so what we do is so much more than just an outfit or a coat or clothing. We're showing these kids that they're cared for, that they're loved, they're important. We're giving them confidence, hopefully,
That's right.
and empowering them to be successful at school,
That's
which
right.
with what all that other stuff they have going on, if this can be one little thing that kind of helps them, or they remember one day, hey, I got that box, I got that outfit, I got the new pair of
That's right.
shoes, that coat.
That's right.
That's why we do what we do.
And that makes all the difference in the world, or can make all the difference in the world. Little gifts like that, and a lot of times it is sight unseen to you.
Yeah.
Um, but flip side of that too, you mentioned you have two young children, and I'm pretty sure, being a stay at home mom, you have a lot of time to spend with them. Do they help, or are they excited sometimes to help, with the process, or being young boys still, mom is busy working and they're out being boys.
Oh no, they better be. So it's funny because they've grown up with this. They're used to
Okay.
people being in our house. Their mom had a thrift store in the basement, which I look back and I must have just been absolutely out of my mind. I must have been crazy. Um, but my kids have everything that they could ever want.
Mhm.
And I wanted them to realize that life is bigger than that bubble that they live in,
That's right.
that life is bigger than the neighborhood they're in,
That's
that
right.
there are people out there that are struggling and that are in need, and I just want to raise good humans, and
Mhm.
it's as simple as that. So yes, they come to Boxes of Basics, and we have a lot of young volunteers, and I think it's so important to instill that in kids
Yes.
young,
Yes.
that giving back and
That's right.
and that they have the opportunity, even as young people, to make a difference in the
That's
life
right.
of another kid.
That's right.
And so I have my kids pack boxes for kids their age, and
Awesome.
that kind of resonates and they get
Awesome.
it.
Yes.
And I'm a mom too. So listen, if they're bad, I'm like, you're coming with me. You are packing boxes today because you need a lesson.
No,
So, I
that's
mean,
right.
I'm not going to lie about that. I've done that a few times. But they're good, And so do they want to come every day and help me
Yeah.
lug boxes around? No, they're kids. But have they, and has it been a valuable lesson for them? I mean, I hope so as a mom.
Yeah, I think so. The things that you instill in them now will stay with them for a lifetime. I totally understand that, even doing this for me, I believe in giving and I believe in sharing. And I like things such as this because it's not something that people talk about every day. This is not something that many of us even acknowledge that is really needed.
Mm-hmm.
And to have someone in our community, especially here in Prince William County, that's really doing it, I think that's huge. And the main point that I hope that everybody walks away with, and I really love what you said, it's not about, backgrounds, race, religion. It's about being human beings,
Mm-hmm.
because every human being is affected by this on some level, or can be. Many of us are living paycheck to paycheck, and you may not even know tomorrow, God forbid something happens, you can be in a situation where you need assistance. So that's why I say I'm really excited, and I'm glad to have the opportunity to have you come on and share those thoughts, because
Right.
it really needs to be heard. But I do want to not really change lanes, but continue on. So now that you've moved into your bigger space, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad to hear that the pandemic has been a blessing for you.
Mm-hmm.
But now, how do you manage it? Because now you're no longer in your basement. Not to say, it's a little more confined and maybe a little bit easy to get to, but it sounds like now your operation is really starting to grow. So, like, how many volunteers do you have? Like, what would a typical day for Sarah look like, at work?
Every day is different. So we've grown, and we're in another hyper growth phase. Basically, we're trying to keep up with demand. To give you an idea, in 2021 we distributed 450 boxes of basics.
Wow.
In 2022 we distributed over 1,000 boxes of basics. So
Wow.
more than doubled our
Okay.
production. Thank you. But I was able to hire my first part-time staff person,
Awesome.
a program manager who's wonderful. And so she's been kind of running the day-to-day operations at the house and getting the boxes out. And I'm trying to focus on growing the business, because I think that's something that people miss. Nonprofits, it's still a business.
Yeah.
I still have to pay insurance. I still have to pay for my website and my internet, and all those things that a business entrepreneur has to do. So does a nonprofit.
Right.
And so I'm trying to work on that. But yeah, we're in another growth phase for sure. The demand is huge. I think we had about 168 volunteers last year. We have a lot of groups that come through too, which we love. Scout groups, church groups, mom groups. I don't care. I don't care what your group is. If you guys want to pack boxes, come on. But yeah, so now again we're busting at the seams.
And
we're looking to the future to say, okay, what does Boxes of Basics look like in 5 years? One interesting thing is we've had some people in different counties in Virginia contact us, and they're thinking, hey,
Awesome.
This is a great model.
Awesome.
And I do think it can be replicated. Hopefully eventually we'll see what happens there. But we have a lot of kind of irons in the fire right now, and it's exciting. It's nerve-wracking to see, make sure I can keep the wheels on this, because I do think the work that we're doing is important. And you hit a great point. Clothing insecurity is not something people talk about. They talk about, food pantries, and I'm not saying that they're not needed. They're needed.
Right.
But that's a common talking point, or a common, when I talk about these kids don't have clothes, people don't get it, We delivered a box to a boy, and he was in elementary school. The social worker noticed that his shoes were so tight, he had blisters all over his feet.
Wow.
And this school is located in a very prominent area, neighborhood. And so I also think that, people think, oh, we live in a nice neighborhood, this can't happen where we are.
True.
And that is not a fact.
I think that's right.
And and I learned that too. It opened my eyes a lot. We deliver all over. We deliver to schools all over Prince William, Manassas, and Manassas Park. And like I said, it's been a life lesson for me too.
So I want to ask Sarah if let's just say so because you talk about volunteers, not and like I said, being a nonprofit, and being familiar with the nonprofit, volunteerism is huge, right?
Mhm.
So I want to take, you mentioned all the other groups, but if there's someone that's watching this or listening to this and they wanted to volunteer,
Mhm.
like how could they get in touch with you, or what would be the best way? Like, is there a process or anything they need to go to?
Yeah.
But because I want to get you all the help that you can get, because this is amazing.
Thank you. Thank
Mhm,
you.
mhm.
And you can come visit anytime. I'll give you the
I
tour of the house.
I would love to. I would love to.
So yeah, our website really has everything you need to know. www.boxesofbasics.org, and I designed it on GoDaddy.com. So it's another part of running a nonprofit that you do. But we have a volunteer page. You fill out an application. It's pretty basic. Once you fill out the application, hey, there it is. You get sent a sign up genius that has volunteer shifts, and they vary each month just based on our availability. You just sign up for a shift that works for you. We
Okay.
try to make it easy, and I will say too, just a shout out, I have the best volunteers. I mean,
Okay.
these people are amazing. And we have volunteers from 10 years old to 85 years old
Wow.
and everywhere in between, and people giving of their time and giving of themselves. It's just been an amazing thing to watch. And we wouldn't be where we are today without our volunteers.
That's awesome. And may you continue. Well, first of all, since you have the best volunteers, may you continue. And we
Yes.
want to make sure we get you some more, excellent hands to come out and help. But I also want to talk too, because there is another side, like you said, to nonprofits. How can people, if they want to donate,
Mhm.
or I don't know if you do sponsorships or if you do different drives maybe throughout the year. If you do, can you talk about them, and how can the community help, maybe from a monetary side as well?
Sure. Yeah, I will take cash, check, pirate gold. I don't care. But we do have a donation section on our website, and you can donate one time. Sign up as like a monthly donor, which is huge for us. It just helps us know that money is going to come in every month. We have an Amazon wish list. You can shop for a kid. We have a Walmart gift registry. You can buy shoes for a child. And, the nice thing that people like about Boxes of Basics is we're hyper local. So the money that you give, the clothing that you donate is going to stay right here. We have 4 locations in Prince William County where you can drop off
Okay.
new and gently used clothing.
Okay.
If you have a company or a group that wants to do a donation drive, we have all the information right there on our website as well. And we are just rolling out, I'm kind of super excited, our first corporate sponsorship package.
All
And
right.
so, yay, if you
All
have a
right.
business and you really want to be synonymous with giving and be aligned with an organization that's doing great things in the community, this is going to be something that you can look into. And it's not up on the website. I was hoping to get it done today, but I'm hoping maybe by the end of the week. But that'll be out soon. And so we have options for corporations. We have options to give, again, all on our website.
Well, we will make sure that we put all of your website information
Thank you.
here in the show notes, and we will definitely share that with our audience. And before we close out, time just flew by.
Yeah.
Great conversation, but I do want to ask. You talked about expansion, but is there any possible expansion? But when a lot of times, I like to say, from your mouth to God's ear, and He will
That's
make it
right.
happen. But is there anything else, maybe special, or anything that you would like to share, or give us a little tidbit, before we go?
I don't know. I told you all. I gave you
Okay.
all the tea. I don't
Hey,
know.
that's all. Look, I want to make sure. I want to make sure we give you ample opportunity to get it all out, because we
Yeah,
want to
I
get it.
love
We want
it.
to share. We
I mean,
want
I
to pour
think
out.
if you have any listeners that connect with what we're trying to do, and you have a skill that you think that you could bring to Boxes of Basics, get in contact with me. It's all about making those connections, and we've grown organically, word of mouth. So the more people that know about what we're doing, the more we grow. And it's been a pretty amazing ride this far. And I'm excited to see, where it's going to take us. And again, at the end of the day, we're helping these kids. And I know that we're meeting a need that wasn't met before. And so, there's moments where I'm like, why am I doing this? It's exhausting, right? It's exhausting.
Right.
But those stories of those kids or that boy that woke up 30 minutes early, that just makes it all worthwhile. And I just appreciate you giving me the time and highlighting Boxes of Basics and putting up with me for half an hour. I appreciate it.
Look, this was one of the best conversations I've had in a long while, in the sense of I feel fulfilled and being able to share your story with our audience and our community, most importantly. Sarah, thank you so much, for sitting here and this pouring out into us today. I wish you continued success in all that you do, and I'll be in touch. I want to come out. I want to get the grand tour. I have some things because I'm a big donator. My wife can't stand me. If I have something in my, seriously, I've been like this from a child. My mother raised me this way. If I had something in my closet for more than a year, and if I've never worn it, that means I'm not going to wear it. So I'm a big donator. So we will put some things together. We'll take a ride out. We'll come visit. We'll hang out for a little bit. And
I would love that.
Thank you. I would love to meet you in person as well.
Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Another gem. Prince William County. Go out, support, give. Give what you can. If you can support, please go out and support. And if some of you are doing a little financially better than others, go ahead and drop some cash donations, to Boxes of Basics. Sarah, have a good evening.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Another episode of Two Mics Up in the books. I'm your man, Dame DNYDC. You can follow Two Mics Up online, www.twomicsup.com. You can follow us across IG, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and we're everywhere at Two Mics Up. And, before we go, I want to say real quick, I want to thank our sponsors. Season 5, they continue to rock with us and continue to support us. Riddick Entertainment, 94 Media House, TD Insurance Agency, now at the National Harbor, Artistry Lather. Thank you all so much. And ladies and gentlemen, you know how we do about this time. May you all stay safe, stay blessed. Mike's out.